Welcome to Cases and Concepts and another chapter of our thought leadership. I'm Stephan Blandin. I represent Jordan Zulauf in the estate of her husband, Robert Zuloff, and their 3 children in a wrongful death lawsuit that's been filed against Commonwealth Edison. Commonwealth Edison has violated the Illinois Public Utility Act for over 48 years in her case. And as a result, her husband died, her nephew lost both arms at the shoulder as a result of electric contact that violated the Public Utilities Act as a result of Edison missing 48 years worth of safety inspections. Jeanette has asked me to talk to you and anybody who will listen to make sure that pressure is put on Commonwealth Edison and the Illinois Commerce Commission to make sure that what happened to Robert doesn't happen to anybody else. Robert was a telecommunications subcontractor installing fiber optic cable for Comcast. And while he and his nephew were out at the job site, there was a safety violation on a Commonwealth Edison pole that had been there for 48 years in violation of all known safety standards that Edison had missed for 48 years of inspections. And as a result, Robert was electrocuted and burned alive, and Jordan lost both of his arms at the shoulder. And the Zulaufs are trying to make a go of it and to live as a family together and take care of one another. But here's what happened. There's an unholy alliance that we've uncovered that's taken place between the Illinois Commerce Commission and Commonwealth Edison. Going back the last 10 years, we have found that there's a double standard between Commonwealth Edison and everybody else that the ICC regulates. The ICC specifically called upon one of Edison's downstate competitors, Ameren, to identify how many safety violations they had in 2007. Ameren truthfully reported they had over 35,000 guy wire insulator violations of the type that killed Robert. And they quickly corrected them within a 2-year period. The ICC, when they asked Edison the same question, Edison was not forthcoming that they had no idea. They didn't track those inspections. Instead, over the next 6 to 8 years, Edison fed the ICC with false and incomplete information. Still, had the ICC bothered to look at the numbers, the thousands of safety violations that Edison was reporting, the ICC should have made the determination that safety was not priority one and should have required a complete audit of the system and correction of those systems. This is now 2020. That has still not been done. The ICC has still not called upon Commonwealth Edison to audit their system and make a complete determination of how many safety violations there are. And in our litigation, we've determined that they have thousands. We believe it's well in excess of 10,000 guy wire insulator safety violations that they are not reporting and they are not preparing. They're not correcting. These violations exist in every neighborhood, in every alley, throughout the state, throughout the territory. Edison has 1.4 million poles throughout their territory. They supply electricity to 70% of the state. Yet they only have 30 part-time inspectors driving in their cars looking for safety violations. And that's why they miss so many of these. There's never been a requirement that they enforce the rules to make sure that people are safe. And that's what this video is about, is to call upon the ICC to do its job and crack down on Commonwealth Edison. We have testified before the ICC requesting that they do exactly this. So in Jeanette's words, to make sure that this doesn't happen to anybody else. Why has Edison refused to do this? Because Edison knows that if they do the inspection, they do the audit, and like Ameren, they'll have to pay for it. But we know the one thing that Commonwealth Edison does not want to do is pay for the damage that it causes. How do we know this? Because they've admitted to a bribery scheme. In this bribery scheme, they've admitted to the United States Attorney's Office that they were involved in bribing government officials in exchange for rate hikes. They entered into a plea agreement with the United States government where they admitted that they derived benefits from ratepayers in excess of $150 million over a 6-year time period. Now that that deferred prosecution agreement was entered into with the government, Edison is trying to walk away from it and claim that there was no damage to the ratepayers, that The bribery was done for the benefit of the ratepayers. This is the Commonwealth Edison that claims that safety is their number one priority, that claims they want to turn the light on for Illinois. We want to make sure we turn the light on Commonwealth Edison's conduct and require the ICC to do its job. What Robert went through, what Jeanette is going through, and her 3 kids will for the rest of their lives is actually the price of Commonwealth Edison's corruption. It's the human face of what happens when you have bribery at the highest levels. It's life and limbs. And we want to make sure that people realize this is not just about what took place in the bribery scheme. This is what takes place in the Zulauf's family every single day that they will have for the rest of their life. For more information about this case and other continuing cases in our series, please go to rblaw.net. Thank you.